Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm in the car on my way to actually Hagerstown and Frederick. It's a district work week, as you know. But thank you for having me on. I just want to say thank you all for the good work that you're doing. I know that I've been tracking a lot of what the delegation has been working on, in Annapolis, and even in some of the priorities, on a county basis. But I just want to say it's been an incredible couple of weeks. Obviously, a very dynamic time. In the 6th district, I represent over 35,000 federal workers. NIST, parts of NIH, National Institute of Cancer, our Fire Academy. And it's been a really difficult time because obviously there's been a lot of chaos and confusion. A lot of our nonprofits are really worried about funding. And so I've really been working in concert, with our whole federal delegation, really focused on a lot of outreach. I did a teletown hall with 6,500 people last week, to kind of answer questions, and really get against this dynamic landscape. I've been really focused on my constituents and on Montgomery County and, Frederick and Allegheny, Garrett, and Washington, but really listening and trying to figure out how to best, respond. With respect to a lot of the priorities I saw you all are working on, including a lot of infrastructure priorities and transportation priorities, I've been very focused as well on trying to uplift those. Although on a federal basis, it has just been so unhinged and like out of bounds, out of normality, that I have been very focused on just obviously keeping a day-to-day cadence with our district and our federal office. Last, I want to just say that I really appreciate you all. So many of you have reached out to me and have been just in, really close connections and kind of lifting up, your priorities and offering support. And I just want to say that, I will be there. I am, it seems like, we keep a year.
Congresswoman, you froze.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. But anyway, I would love if you have some questions, or, I also would just love to get some input from you all. I think Congressman, I think Senator Van Hollen is supposed to jump on as well. But I just wanted to say, I thank you all. I'm here. My priorities, I did join the Agricultural Committee and the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. Obviously, NIST is in the district. And, a lot of our research institutions within Maryland are very key. And so I have been very focused on also making sure that we keep on driving, research, innovation, and really looking at ways that we can continue to fight for the priorities of our district. But happy to take a few questions if you want. The dialogue, and I'm sorry that I could not be at home, but given the fact that today is one of my district days, and I have a very big district, I'm going to be in my mobile office most of the day. So, but always feel free to email me and reach out to me as well. But if anyone wants to, ask me anything, here I am.
Great. We appreciate that. And actually, I mentioned at the top of the call that Senator Van Hollen's going to reschedule because of the Senate voting all night
The
into the
votorama,
morning.
the
Yes.
votorama. Oh my Lord. Yeah, pretty incredible. Yeah, I will just say one last thing. I spent my whole life, I was a communications attorney, worked in satellite, and then, spent a bulk of my career in nonprofit Common Sense Media with digital, protecting kids online and our privacy, and then obviously working in the Biden administration at NTIA. But, a lot of this is a massive data breach. I mean, a massive data breach. And a grab for our personal information, our employment information, health, work records. It is something that is completely out of bounds, and I think lawless and illegal. I'm working on a bill that I'm trying to get bipartisan support for to, really, push back against the release of this type of personal information. I think it is, and particularly if it is shared with companies or with contractors and those not vetted within our government. People, when they work for the government, or even if you are, giving your social security or your health information to an agency, you presume that that will be kept in confidence and not shared. And I think it is a breach of trust and a fiduciary duty. And I think that we need to very strongly stand back. And I think against all these freezes and all of what is happening, it is underneath it all a massive way to disassemble, but also to, data is power. And that is so important, particularly when you cross-lace it with AI and then a massive infrastructure across the platforms. So it is, to me, a terrifying thing and one of my big priorities. Not something that is Montgomery County specific, but is, it touches us all and is completely a national problem. So while I hate to, I'm not one who panics, and I think we're going to be fine, but I think that we are going to need to be very strong and vigilant and to stand up. And this is completely outside of all bounds or anything that I've ever experienced or any of us have. But I do know as Democrats, we have to give a more concerted, focused message, or just as public elected officials. I mean, Republican or Democrat, as public elected officials, we need to stand up for our pillars of our government, for trust in our government, and for what we do as elected officials. So anyway, on that, I will happy to take a couple questions.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Delegate Kaufman has his hand up.
Yes, very briefly, Madam Chair. Very nice to see you, Congresswoman.
Thank you.
Admittedly, there aren't a lot of farms in my district in southern Montgomery County in District 18. But what we do have is a lot of people on SNAP and WIC in my district.
Yep.
And I am very concerned about Chairman G.T. Thompson's plan to really cut back on SNAP.
Mhm.
There's so many people who need it. I was just talking to somebody yesterday or today that needed it. And so do we have your commitment that you will stand up against the chairman when it comes to food insecurity for SNAP and WIC individuals?
Yes. And in fact, it's really something you
Because
say that because
the farm bill is being debated. I forgot to give my colleagues the context.
yes, I'm on the ag committee. And, I am the most junior of all of the members because obviously I'm a freshman member, last one to speak always because, bottom rung on the totem pole. But, it's a travesty. Yesterday I met with the Frederick County Farm Bureau, and today I'm going to meet. This is a big issue because, I think I'm just looking at this, the Farm Bill has been really since 2018 has been kind of going through this extension after extension after extension. And it is, it is at a critical point. Farmers are up in arms. And yet they say that they're going to try and cut $230 billion in funding cuts. I do not know where this will come from because that's both conservation efforts, that's subsidies, and most importantly, you're right, is SNAP funding. I am so committed to standing up for SNAP funding and nutrition. There's 38% food insecurity in the Allegheny schools. That means 1 in 3 kids are going to school hungry. And thank God we're giving them free lunch through Governor Moore's and, through a lot of our state funding for lunches. But it is unacceptable that we have hungry families and hungry children. So I'm going to be very vigilant and standing up for SNAP. The problem is the Republicans have to realize that, this is not just an urban issue. There are many rural communities and rural red communities across the country. They're starting to wake up to the fact that SNAP funding is jeopardized and how many people depend on it. So you have my commitment, and it is a huge issue.
Thank you, Delegate Kaufman. Colleagues, any other questions? Delegate Corman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You might have sort of covered this, Congresswoman, but how do you like it?
It's really funny you say that. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, came up to me the other day, and she put her hand on me and she said, "Hello, dear. Are you having fun?" And I said, I wouldn't jump to that adjective, Speaker, but am I enjoying it? You know, it's really important work. It is, I wouldn't say there is enjoyment right now. It's more important work, and I'm feeling incredible pressure on my heart. I have to tell you all the time. I mean, I'm carrying on my heart those 35,000 federal workers. I'm carrying on my heart SNAP funding. I am so unbelievably, I've here, I'm the most junior member of Congress. Literally, I'm number 435 because by the luck of the draw, they take your number, your name out of a hat almost and say, who is the most junior member of the freshman class? And I got the lucky number. So I am the most junior member within this number 435. Having said that, I came to Washington when I was 22. And I know how I just am so unbelievably set back about how our levers are being pushed in new ways. So am I enjoying it? I'm trying. I the weight of the seat is weighing on me, and you step up to the plate, and every day you just work as hard as you can. And that's all I can say at this point because it's a lot. But I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna work as hard as I can because that's all I could do at this point. Is that? I hope that's the only answer I can give you right now. It's not. I think it's hard to and frankly, I think a little bit of mercy has to be, or grace has to be afforded me because I sit in a purple seat. I sit in a purple seat, and no matter what vote I take, I get a swipe from either side. And so, I say common sense, common ground. I'm just going to kind of give it the best prism I can for this district. And it's, as you know, there have been people who have been disappointed about one vote or another. And the most important part for me, I feel, is like really doing the best I can to uplift everyone within the district. So thank you.
Thank you.
And please come in and see me either in our Frederick or our DC offices, because I'd love to have a more one-on-one with a lot of you.
Great. And I think we'll take one last brief question if we can from Delegate Chi.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Congresswoman. I am so proud to see you here. Thank you for stepping up to do the important work. I want to speak both as a representative of Montgomery County, which has been disproportionately affected by the recent layoffs and chaos in DC, but also as a representative of the very large Asian American community in Montgomery and Frederick counties that are extra anxious because most of them are relatively new to politics and the political dynamics. And now they are seeing firsthand the consequences of this election and learning about all these rights and where they can go for resources and all of that. So I think beyond the rhetoric, and we have heard from the Democratic side, our leaders, including our congressional delegation, a lot of outrage and rhetoric, denunciation, which are rightfully so. We all agree, but we need some concrete, practical resources and step-by-step guidance to usher our community through this difficult process. I have sent out multiple links to our chat groups about where people can go. I hope at this point of a difficult time, we can focus on the practical to-do list to help our communities. Okay, and you represent a purple district, so you could be a very good spokesperson on that. People are looking for solutions beyond the rhetoric. Thank you very much.
Yep. So I did a teletown hall. It was more focused on a lot of the federal worker situation and federal freezes, but there were some definitely we received a lot of input afterwards about all of the mass deportations, all of the fear. You're right. And we did put out a couple of links. I think I through franking and through email, I think I emailed almost 300,000 emails across the district with links about, legal resources, what to do if you feel like you've been, wrongly targeted. I am meeting with our delegation, our federal delegation. We meet every couple of weeks. It's convened by every 2 or 3 weeks. It's convened by Senator Van Hollen. It is a scary time. And I think that I thank you all because you're on the ground even closer than I am and are able to really within your communities, try and piece together how we move forward. I would welcome any input, and I'm happy to speak to any groups that you would like me to do so. But on a state basis, I think that we are really going to have to figure out how Maryland, internally in Maryland, how we're dealing with it. But these policies of ICE are they're difficult to predict. And the last thing that I'm concerned about, and I see this frankly, and I get this question a lot, is the most important thing is that the courts hold our federal, our state, our circuit courts, but obviously our Supreme Court holds as that last branch, those last guardrails against some of these, I think, lawless and unconstitutional actions. And what if they do hold and then they're not respected? The court decisions are not respected. Then what is that next rail that we reach? And that is where I'm going, which is kind of not the best place to be. But with respect to your communities, I think it's just giving as much practical advice as you can. And yeah, I think also pushing back within the courts and flooding the courts back is really an important thing as well in terms of it can't just be democracy forward. It has to be all of us at all levels, particularly those with individual standing, going into the court system. And in that way, it will push back and give time to respond.
Thank you. And
That's not
actually,
quite the answer you wanted, but unfortunately, the pragmatic one that I find.
and we're going to wrap up here. And actually, I'm going to turn to Delegate Lopez. She has not a question, but wanted to have a comment, and I'm going to let her have the last word here.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate you allowing me the thank you close. Congressman Delaney, I'm just happy to see you here. I know this is your first time speaking to us as a delegation in one of these meetings, but I know it certainly won't be the last. And you've
I'll see you next week in Annapolis, hopefully. If it works within my schedule, I'm going to try and get there for your event on, is it Tuesday, Thursday? I'm trying to remember.
Sure. And
Yeah.
we'll send you more information about what we're doing. I know you've been a great partner with our reproductive care work. And I also have to just publicly give you praise for hiring such amazing staff. They are a joy to work with and have been so helpful in trying to address the needs of our federal workers that are in our constituencies. So I just want to give you some public praise for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Really
Congresswoman. We're very appreciative of your service and for you being here today. And we'll let you get back to your busy day. Thank you.
Thanks, you all. Really appreciate it. Take care. God bless.